By the end of 2026, Jamal, I want to be driving $50,000 in revenue per day.
All right, you guys, we got a very special treat for you guys here today. We're joined by the one and only Palmer McColl out here in beautiful Las Vegas at Caesar's Palace. Palmer, thank you so much for joining me, man.
Yeah, man. Happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Nah, for sure, man. Like, all right, let's start from the beginning, Palmer.
Okay.
Like, how did you get here? Give everybody your background story. How did you get started, man?
Yeah, guys. So I found my way into performance marketing just under 2 years ago. Actually, 2 years ago. I started out in lead gen, working within a handful of different verticals. First one I started out in was cosmetic dentistry of all things. So I was working with a couple of different dental practices starting out, and that was kind of like my starting point. And I was generating leads for people who wanted veneers in their teeth. So super niche, super kind of weird way to get into it, but that's kind of where I started. When I got out of college, I was working as a marketing associate for a startup company in Oklahoma City, where I'm from. And I enjoyed that, but I always knew that a 9-to-5 gig was not going to be my forte. I was not a fan of the 9-to-5 kind of lifestyle.
What was it about the 9-to-5 that you didn't like?
Man, I'm just not a big, I wouldn't say rule follower. I just don't like being told what to do with my time. And I knew that I was always going to find my way into a gig that allowed me to operate on my time and build relationships with people, and I don't know, just have a little bit more freedom. And so when I found EDM, I'm truly blessed to have found EDM, Jamal and Rita and everyone else on the team, Chris. It's been such a great past month. I've only been here with you guys for a month, and I've enjoyed every second of it. So
let's tell that story real quick, Palmer. So how the hell did you even find us?
Yeah, it's really funny, actually. Me and JP laugh about it all the time. I was scrolling on Indeed looking for just a short time gig to kind of keep some income coming in, because I was doing my own lead gen stuff. I was doing calls, web form leads with the cosmetic dentist and stuff like that. But I was scrolling on Indeed to find some sort of part-time job that I could work. And I come across EDM, and I'm like, what is this? Media broker for EDM. And I click on it, and I do a little research on your guys' website. And I was like, this is for me. This is a sign from God. Like, this is what I need. And so I called JP. We got on the phone. He told me a little bit about y'all's company, and that he was open to interview me, and got on an interview, and then I started training with you guys the following week, and that's kind of how I found you guys. So.
Damn,
and
that's
Indeed,
crazy.
yeah.
Indeed works, you guys.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, Palmer's one of the rising stars already within the media broker program. You know, Palmer, if you feel comfortable enough, like, how much revenue are you driving across your accounts right now?
Yeah, so per day right now, I'm sitting at around 6,000, 6,500
A day.
a day in revenue.
He's driving $6,500 a day in revenue, and it's going to continue growing. What were some of the things that specifically stood out in either the job posting, or what really kind of made this opportunity seem relevant for what you were looking for?
Yeah, so again, back to what I was talking about before. I like having I like working on my own time, and I like being able to instead of sitting at a desk all day, working on a computer all day, doing what I'm told. You guys allow me the freedom to go out and network with people, go out and make connections, and work on my own time. And I've always been a marketing guy. I'm infatuated with performance marketing, and for me to be able to go out, build these connections with great people every day, and speak my language on a daily basis, it's really been great. So I think that was probably the biggest thing that stood out. And then not to mention your guys' team is next to none, man. You guys know what y'all are doing. You guys are experts in the space. So being able to learn from you guys every single day has been the biggest blessing for me, I think.
And what have been some of those early lessons that you've picked up in your first month of you being with us that you can kind of see like, oh, this is something a little bit different than what I've seen before?
Yeah, I would say the communication that goes on every day between all of us as a team is one of the main things I was looking for. You know, with most companies, you tend to get caught up in the nuances of, I guess you could call it corporate communication, where it's, you know, it's super traditional. It's like you're having to type out 50 emails a day and keep it super formal.
Yeah.
But with you guys, man, I can call you up any time of the day, and I know you guys are just going to shoot me straight with whatever I need to know. You guys, the communication is just so fluent, and it's quick. It's not something that you're emailing back and forth, and that's probably my biggest thing, because I like being able to talk fast and get things done.
Yeah.
And you guys are good at that.
Deal making is everything.
Right.
You know,
Right.
time kills deals, right? So,
Right.
you know, time is of the essence. We got to move as fast as we possibly can in every aspect. Like, what was something that you noticed within the business in terms of like how we operate that allowed you to be able to get productive quickly? What was that thing that allowed you to hit the ground running, start making money quickly, and be able to plug in where you could fit in? What were those things?
Yeah, so number one would be y'all's team. JP, shout out to JP if you're watching this. He was just super quick he just threw us in the fire, and that's kind of how I like to learn. You guys aren't super, you're not babysitting us. You know, you let us work, you let us jump in the fire and just kind of learn as we go. And that's kind of how I did it. I had no experience with brokering and putting deals together. I did with some deals, but you guys just kind of threw me in the fire, and I got to learn as I went on. And I think that was probably the biggest thing. You guys are super lenient, and the communication is everything. So I think the biggest thing was the fact that you guys just let us jump in head first and get to work. There's no sitting around waiting. There's no special training programs that you have to go through. We have the first week, which is you got to learn the platform. But,
Yeah.
the second thing would probably be y'all's platform. I'm a huge fan of the EDM platform that we have. It's fully comprehensive across the publishing side and the advertiser side, and I haven't seen anything like it. It's really
We built it out of necessity. You know, there's just not a lot of stuff that's able to solve all the problems that everybody's facing, especially in this interesting business that we're in, because most people don't understand that the media broker opportunity even exists. They don't even understand that this is even an option.
Right.
You know, most people think about, you know, getting offers and getting a deal from this person and try to broker it there. You know, our big thing is hosting offers,
Right.
managing those offers, managing the vendor management for all the advertisers that we host inside the system. You know, what did you kind of learn about some of the different product types that you were able to expose yourself to outside of just pay-per-call and just live transfers and inbounds and that type of stuff?
Yeah, so within the platform you're asking?
Yeah.
Yeah, so coming into it, I thought it would strictly be calls, which is all great with me. You know, I love pay-per-call. I love how it operates. I love how efficient it is, especially with call tracking and stuff. But I think working with you guys for the past month, it's really opened my eyes to all the different opportunities when it comes to, you know, brokering data, brokering media, and these traffic offers specifically that we're hosting really stood out to me. And I think that those are slowly becoming more and more relevant and popular amongst performance marketers. So
If you think about it, Palmer, every billion-dollar network that exists, their number one product type is traffic,
right,
not calls.
I didn't know that 2 months ago. So
And these are the things. These are the
things, man.
So, Palmer, not a lot of people know this, but this is actually your first conference.
Yep.
We're out here at the Rise MMS conference out here in beautiful Las Vegas. Like, what's your feedback from like getting off the plane to coming to this conference? Because I didn't tell you about this conference that long ago.
Right, I know. It's last week. I got a phone call in the morning. I wake up to Jamal calling me, and he's like, "Hey, man, you want to go to Vegas next week?" And I was like, "Sure." So that was pretty awesome. But I'll tell y'all one thing. Jamal knows how to take care of you, man. He knows how to take care of his people. You know, all expenses paid for. You guys took care of me out here. And first day, we had an absolute blast. So I think for any of the brokers who are interested in the program or coming on this team, just know EDM, Jamal, and Rita know how to take care of their team. So we've had a lot of fun so far.
And what are some of the things that you kind of realized kind of coming to a show with us for the first time that you noticed, like how we move at the show, how we work the shows? Like, what are some of those takeaways that you have?
Yeah, this being like my first official event, I would say networking event, big one, I would say. Jamal's really shown me like how to get out there and just go talk to people. It's not, people make it out to be some, you know, formal thing where you got to be cordial. You got to, I don't know. I saw it as like this super cordial thing in my head, and seeing you go out and network with people and seeing Chris go talk to people, it's super, I think our team has a special way of just being friendly with people and becoming friends with people. And it's super, it's not super, what do you call it?
It's not forced, right?
Yeah, it's not forced. It's just making friends with people and connecting with all these great people at these events. And so that's something I kind of picked up on the past day or two, just being able to be open with people, communicate with people, and just be friendly overall.
You gotta be a human, you guys. Like,
be a human, that's the word.
Yeah, you gotta be a human, because it's like, you see everybody that's all stiff, they uptight. You just gotta go and just break their balls a little bit, just open up the floor for a conversation, and you never know who you're gonna talk to.
Right.
Never know who you're gonna talk to. Now, Palmer, I got a more personal question for you. So, like, when you think about your entrepreneurial mindset that you have right now and everything that's kind of gotten you to this point, like, what do you think are some of like those key things that have kind of driven you to this standpoint? Like, who was Palmer in high school? Like, who was that guy?
Yeah, so in high school, I've always had that entrepreneurial mindset. So I've actually got a really funny story I can tell. My brother's the same way. My little brother, Peyton, is a year younger than me. Him and I actually, our first kind of entrepreneurial venture, business venture, was selling Beanie Babies, of all things. So if you guys don't remember, I think it was like 4 or 5 years ago, actually a little longer, 6, 7 years ago, Beanie Babies became like this sought after thing that everybody was looking for. I don't know why, but I remember them being super popular on eBay, and you had these little stuffed animals. And for those who don't know what Beanie Babies are, there's these little stuffed animals, like the size of my hand. And they came out back in like the 90s, I believe.
Yeah.
And so in 2018, 19, for some reason, everybody wanted like these Beanie Babies as collectibles. And so what we did is my grandmother had this huge box of Beanie Babies, and they were like pretty rare too. Like the ones we were seeing on eBay were like, dude, this is going for $3,000, and our grandma has them sitting in her attic. So we went and got this big box of Beanie Babies, me and my brother, and we listed them on eBay, and we made a couple $1,000 just selling these little stuffed animals on eBay.
And that got you hooked.
And that was like our first, I would say, business venture. We also sold socks online, like these designed socks that we would get from like China, and we were reselling.
Oh man, was it like drop shipping?
Yeah. Our name was Foot Bling. That was the name of our brand.
Foot Bling.
Yeah. It died pretty quickly, but
all e-commerce brands do at some point. And it's one of those things where it's like, you know, that teaches you a lot of skills, because you probably learned a lot of stuff doing that.
Right.
What were some of those biggest lessons that you learned, you know, flipping Beanie Babies and selling drop shipping socks? Like, what were some of the big takeaways?
So I think the biggest thing, and it's applicable to what we're doing now, was Facebook ads. That's when I first got into Facebook ads and started media buying. So I learned a lot about Facebook ads with the sock stuff, the foot bling. We started up an ad account. We had no idea what we were doing. We were probably paying like $200 a day, nothing crazy, but we had saved up money to put into the ads. And that was like my first experience using Facebook Ads Manager. So I learned a lot there, how to read an ad account, how to optimize ads, how to build creatives. So I guess I can attribute my Facebook advertising skills that I have today to foot bling.
Hey, you had to learn it somehow.
Yeah.
You had to learn it somehow, and those are valuable skills that nobody will ever be able to take away from you.
Right.
Now, what do you feel like are the most important skills to have in this line of work that we're doing right now?
I think the number one most important would probably be communication. Just being able to talk to people in a way that they understand. It's not super forthcoming. You're not all in their face being super formal. I think being a good communicator is probably the most important, if I had to say. Second would probably be a basic understanding of how paid media works and how money flows in the performance marketing space, because I think a lot of people have a misunderstanding of how performance marketing actually works. You hear it all the time, but I come across a lot of people, a lot of marketers that I know, they don't truly have a full grasp of how this industry works and how it truly is performance, based.
Yeah.
And so that's how you get paid in this space, is you got to know what you're doing.
So if you were talking to somebody that doesn't know what we do at all, Palmer, how would you describe our business and what we do?
Oh, man. Okay. Yeah, so if I were talking to an absolute newbie in the pay-per-call space in performance marketing, I'd probably tell them, EDM being what it is, I would probably tell them that we're finding the source of the people who are generating the calls, generating the leads, generating the traffic. We're finding those people, the nerds of the world who are very good at what they do. We're finding those. We're having those people send that data through us so that we can then monetize that data and those phone calls that they're generating. And where our value comes into play, our value proposition would be, the fact that on a daily basis, we're communicating with advertisers and people who are looking to buy this data and these phone calls. And we do a great job as a company of facilitating those deals. So one of the things that most publishers struggle with, the direct publishers, that is, the people who are actually, behind the screen,
Originating
the media, they have a hard time finding these large buyers and communicating with them again. So that's why I mentioned that communication would probably be the top skill to have in the space that we're in. But yeah, that's kind of how I would explain it.
It's a great explanation, you guys. Like, our company at its core brings distribution, okay? We go get the distribution. People don't need to have a sales division if they're originating media. Do what you do best. Let us do what we do best, which is go get the advertisers and put the deals together that makes sense for everybody, right?
Right.
Now, when it comes down to like sustaining campaigns, because I'm sure you kind of learned this side of the business, because it's one thing to get an account, it's a whole nother thing to keep
manage
that account.
it. Yeah,
it's a whole nother thing. So, what have been some of those takeaways that you've had there in terms of like what has either hurt you from being able to keep and sustain accounts, and what has helped you be able to keep and sustain accounts?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think there's a big difference between the call side and the traffic side. And I think on the call side, it does get a little bit murky. It can be a little bit more trickier, in my experience at least, because there's a lot more hands-on management that's involved with calls. Because, with calls, the publishers who are generating them, they want to know that we're doing a good job of making sure that these calls are being answered, first of all, by human beings, and that they are that the buyer is doing their part. So it goes back to us facilitating those deals and managing those deals. But to go back to your question, I think the biggest thing I've learned about account management and just managing the both sides of the deal, it really comes down to the numbers. So with traffic, on the other hand, I just mentioned calls. With traffic, it's got a lot to do with those numbers, the CPA, the publisher's cost per lead, the amount of volume that you want to start them out at, because different buyers, different advertisers can take on different amounts of volume. It all comes down to those numbers, I think, on the traffic side, and making sure that everything is adding up correctly. Because one thing could be off, and now we're not making money, or now the publisher's not making money. So it really is just staying within those lines. You want to always be diligent with those numbers and where you're at, because we want to make sure everyone's making money. And in the performance marketing space, that's how it works. You got to make sure your numbers are right.
Yeah.
To make sure everyone's making money.
The money always has to be right, you guys. Advertisers need to make sure they pay their bills on time. Publishers need to make sure they get paid on time.
That's a whole nother thing.
And let's dig into that, right? So, everybody thinks everything is all sunshine and rainbows all the time. Palmer, what are some of those dark periods that you've personally have seen and experienced within the business that, things can go bad very, very quickly? What are some of those things that you've noticed?
Right. So I didn't bring this up earlier, but before I was with EDM, I was doing a lot of final expense. So I was actually generating the leads. I had my own page that I was sending traffic to. I was generating the leads for final expense agents in particular. I was working with individual agents at the time. And it was a little different from what we're doing now. It was a much smaller scale, much smaller scale. And I was collecting payment up front from these agents. So I would go find an agent who was looking for final expense leads, and they would pay me, let's say I was selling them for $40, so they would pay me $4,000 for 100 leads. Is that right?
Yeah.
I'm terrible at math. But they'd pay me up front $4,000 for 100 leads. I would go ramp up the ad account, or ramp up the budget, and I would ensure that agent received 100 leads from me. And that's kind of how I was doing it. So I was collecting prepayment from these agents. When you're doing it on the scale that EDM is doing it on, payment terms come into play. So we're putting these advertisers on, and publishers on, payment terms. And it can get kind of tricky, like you mentioned earlier, making sure that they have the capital to pay us with the amount of calls and leads we're sending them, and that everyone gets paid on time. It can get pretty tricky, but I've learned a lot during my time here on making sure that those time frames, and whether it be weekly net 7, monthly net 15, you got to make sure those line up with both sides of the deal, from the publisher to the advertiser. So,
because if you don't, it'll get bad very fast.
Yes, it will.
And here's the thing: is I think we do a decent job as far as showing the business. Not everything is always perfect.
Yeah.
What I have struggled with in terms of being able to really articulate to people, especially people that want to get into the business, is just how hard this business is. People think that it's easy, although it seems so natural as far as us connecting and meeting people. We've been doing this for a long time, right? So been able to learn some of this stuff, but getting started is some of those nuances that you just don't know yet, right? And building that network out and just kind of knowing who you have in each of these different areas that you could be able to utilize for different things, that stuff is invaluable. Let's say we're going back to the beginning, before Palmer did anything, right? What are some of the most critical lessons that you would want to know at your inception that you feel will help guide your path and get you started on the right foot? What are some of those things?
So if I could tell my younger self, what
you
would
could
be
talk
the
to your
best?
younger self before you knew anything. What would you want to know?
I would probably first tell myself that there are a lot of people out there who do not do good business, and you have to have a keen eye for those people. That would probably be my biggest thing, is that there are a lot of people out there that they're not honest people. And I'm not hating on everyone here. I'm not talking to everyone here, but there are people out there that will screw you, straight up screw you. And so I wasn't aware of kind of how people can take advantage of you in this space. And so knowing the things I know now, that would be probably the biggest thing.
And what would you do different specifically?
Yeah, I'd probably just do a better job of vetting the people that I choose to work with and really looking at the actual person that I'm doing business with. Because as most of us know, like when you go into business with someone, you want to make sure this person is a trustworthy person, an honest person, and someone you can, make some money with, someone you're going to get along with.
Yeah.
And for me with EDM, working with you guys, it's been a home run. It's been perfect. But that would probably be the biggest thing.
But what are some of those like specific things that someone should look out for and say, hey, that's a red flag if they ever see that? Like, what are some of those things?
Yeah. To be specific on the call side, which is something I'm still fairly new to. I have experience with it, but I'm still learning a lot on the call side of things. So within pay-per-call, I think when it comes to quality assurance, there's a lot of things that can make things go downhill really quickly.
As you know, just takes one.
Yeah, it just takes one. And so it goes back to, making sure that the source or the publisher that you're working with is doing good work and that you're verifying all of their whole traffic flow, their whole flow that they're sending the
full consumer journey.
The consumer flow through. Yeah. And so, for example, on an inbound line, we had this happen 2 weeks ago where we have a publisher who isn't doing good work send, I think we had like one come through, and it happens in the space, but you'll see a fraudulent call come through and then it just puts a halt to everything. And so when those things happen, it's important. We do a really good job of making sure that doesn't happen. That's one thing I've been really thankful for working with you guys is y'all are very diligent with compliance and how you guys manage compliance overall. And that's a big thing.
And our goal has always been like, we know we're never going to be able to eliminate 100% every risk, but we're going to do everything we possibly can to mitigate that exposure.
Right.
And, mitigation is the number one focus. And I think that's kind of a really critical point that you just mentioned there, Palmer, because a lot of people think, hey, this person said they got it.
Yeah,
and that's not always the case. Yeah. So, when you're doing your due diligence now and you're meeting with someone new that tells you they got everything, they're saying all the sweet magic words, they're serenading you, they trying to, do whatever they can to get with you, like, how are you vetting them now, and what does that diligence process look like on your side?
Yeah, so I've had plenty of publishers, promise me the world when, they want to work with us. I would say that my kind of process for vetting these publishers would first be, how are you sourcing your data? How are you sourcing these leads? And majority of these publishers are sourcing them from Google, Meta, Taboola, stuff like that, YouTube. And so that would probably be the first step of my vetting process is where are you sourcing them from. Second would be verifying their creatives. So for those who don't know what creatives are, they're the actual image or text that the consumer sees whenever you're stopping their scroll or whether they're scrolling through Google. I would say checking the creatives would be the second step and is also a very important step because you have a lot of, bullshit out there where people are promising final expense. For final expense, it's like free $40,000 if you're over the age of, and it's ridiculous what people will do to, generate this traffic, and it goes nowhere. So you want to make sure that those creatives are, and that what the consumer is seeing is not only, compliant, not fraud, but it's also in line with what our advertisers are looking for from these consumers. So those two things would be the most important in my opinion. And then third would just be making sure that, the people you're working with have experience. There's a lot of people coming into the space who want a piece of the pie, but aren't really willing to, you know, put in the work to learn what it takes to generate good traffic. And there's a lot of people who just want to come in here, send you crap traffic, and then dip out with a paycheck.
Yeah.
So.
And it happens, you know, some people get in, terms are just so fast that they get paid out before we can really vet the quality of the intent of the customers. And it's just a quick hit and they leave, you know, and, you know, it's very short-term business. Like, I think that'll be another critical question for you, Palmer. Like, what have you learned about short-term business and long-term business? How have you learned the difference between those two things?
Yeah, so for me, I can almost tell like right away, not all the time, I'm not saying all the time, but almost all the time, I can tell whether this is going to be a long-term relationship or a short-term relationship, just based off the initial conversation. Because on the publisher side, a lot of the publishers in the life insurance space know of us. They know of EDM, and so when they come to us looking to send us traffic and for us to buy their traffic, the ones who stick around are the ones who are willing to listen to the advice that we give. I wouldn't say advice, but you know, we give them guidance. Yeah, we give them guidance on how our campaigns run and how our advertisers operate and how we operate. And the people that really take that in and listen to that guidance, I think are going to be the long-term players under EDM and with any network or within any campaign that's being run in performance marketing. The short-term guys tend to
just want to get in and get going fast.
They want to get going fast. They don't want to take the time for us to verify everything. They just want to get in and get out. And I'm really looking to get better at sifting through those kinds of people, just because we're looking for long-term partners here at EDM, and I want to do a better job of sifting through those more short-term partners. And it's a process, you know, you got to learn it, but
it's always a process. I mean, anything that's worth learning is always going to take some time, a lot of effort, and a lot of long nights. I mean, you kind of seen it where like some of these more intimate shows that we come to are very different than the big shows that we go to.
Yes.
And the way we work them are a little bit different. Now, when you initially got started, and we can go all the way back to the beginning.
Okay.
What did you envision yourself really focusing on as far as like, did you think that you were just going to niche down and only do that one thing? Have you noticed like the variations and all the different offers and verticals that are actually available? Like, where was your mindset at the initial inception?
Yeah, so when I first started, my whole mindset was I'm going to focus on life insurance because that's what I know, specifically final expense. I told you this when I first got on, but my mindset was coming into this was like, I'm going to focus on one vertical, on one product, and on one traffic type. And that for me was going to be inbound calls because I was infatuated with pay-per-call. I still am, but inbound calls, I figured out about pay-per-call probably 6 months ago.
Wow.
And so coming into it, I was like, this is awesome, man. I don't have to build out at this complex landing page and lead qualification with the all the different stuff that comes with form fills and that kind of stuff. So I was hyper focused on one product, one vertical, one traffic type, and then 2 weeks in, I realized how many industries and how many verticals that EDM operates in, and now I know about Medicare, I know about debt settlement, I know about solar cancellation of all things, and I'm just learning all about these new different verticals that you can operate in, and there's so much opportunity in each of them. So it's cool to be, it's good to be open-minded, I would say.
Yeah.
When you come into this space, because there's so many different opportunities to make money with performance marketing and media buying, because there's endless opportunities, really. I mean, solar cancellation is a prime example.
Yeah.
I didn't have any idea of what that was.
Nobody knows about that.
Yeah,
Now,
keep that down.
no, it's all good. Like, you guys, it's a hot offer. If anybody's interested and you're kind of curious about what that means, comment down below. Let's talk about it. But let's go back real quick, Palmer. So when we think about like your journey, right, and how you got started, part of that evolution that you went through is the exposure that you just started to see, right? We expose you to everything else that's available and that's live and active. Like, how impactful would you say exposure is to being able to expand and do more in life?
It is 100% like one of the biggest things when it comes to furthering your network, growing your net worth. I mean, it's 100%. I would probably say the most important because, being with you guys as long as I have been, I've been exposed to all these different things, all these different people, different names in the space, and it's definitely contributed to my growth as a marketer and potential opportunities in the future. And it's just really opened my mind to not only how much money you can make in this space, but just the people you come across, the people you meet and come across. There's so many opportunities in the future that can come up just from one conversation that you have at an event or over a Zoom call.
Oh, you just segmented it perfectly, Palmer.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the art of the deal real quick.
Okay.
Because you probably learned there's a lot of different ways that we put together deals, right?
Yes.
Like, it's not a one-size-fits-all scenario, and it's kind of like, where's the conversation going? So, like, what have you really learned about the art of the deal from running meetings with me, Chris, every other guy that you've been able to work with, like, on the team? Like, what would you say about the art of the deal from working with everybody?
Yeah, so like you said, there's so many different ways that a deal can come together. I guess a prime example would be my uncle. We met. I introduced Jamal to my uncle, who's a big sales guy. He's a big operator. He's done a lot of different deals in the past, particularly with ERTC, the tax credit program that came out a few years ago during COVID. But I mean, through that introduction, there was a huge opportunity that opened up, and that happened over a phone call. I was literally in line at Chipotle when this happened. So if that tells y'all anything of how these things come together, it's not as formal and as on paper as most people see. It's literally can happen at any time.
Anytime.
And like I said, I was standing in line at Chipotle and I see you calling me. I'm like, oh gosh. Answer the phone, and he's like, yo, get Chris in here. We merge him in, and we're having a conversation in Chipotle about how we can put this deal together. So that's going to be a huge opportunity, I think, too. So
No, that's a monster opportunity.
Yeah.
There's going to be so much opportunity that's created there. And that's actually pretty interesting that you kind of bring that example up, because that is literally a case where the advertiser doesn't operate within any of our verticals right now.
Yeah.
And he's looking to segment his business, and we can completely help him set up that complete new operation for him.
Right.
Which helps him, but at the same time serves us.
Right.
And we are able to open up more lines of distribution. And one thing that I think was very unique to you when you first started was the way that we host offers. Did you ever see that in the industry? You ever knew what that was?
No. So within our dashboard or within our platform, for those of you who don't know, it's super self-serve. It truly is. I mean, you go to our offer listing page, and it's like you just pick what you want to run, pick what kind of or what vertical you're in, and you get going the day of. And I didn't know it was that you could do it that efficiently, and so that really opened my eyes to how efficient you can make it, and you guys have done a really good job with that. So
it's been a game of iteration, man.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of work being able to kind of build the system the way that we are, because there's other self-serve call platforms, right, where you can just go get calls, but there's not something that encompasses everything.
Right.
Where we can host offers. You can get calls, you can get forms, you can get traffic, you can get whatever you want.
Yep.
You can get whatever you want to pay for, right? And
we have an excellent tech team that handles the setup for everybody. We're super quick to get everything set up, and that was the other thing that was huge. Is just having a team behind you who's ready to go at all times. It's great.
Now,
It's great.
let's be honest, Palmer, because there's always stuff that could always be done better, right? So what are some of those little pieces of feedback that you think are missing that we could add that'll take the platform to a whole nother level?
Let me think on that. Because there have been a few times where I'm like, I wish, this dashboard had this, and it's like, let me think on that, because there are a few. Can we come back to that?
Yeah, let's come back to that.
Back to it.
We could probably close with that one.
Okay.
Now, Palmer, I want you to just look at the camera real quick, and I want you to imagine that you're talking to somebody that's kind of sitting on the fence where they don't know if this is the right path for them, or they don't know if it's worth taking the risk, or they don't know if the money's actually there that they think that we present is actually available for them. What would you say to those people that are in that state of mind right now, and what would you tell them about being able to take that leap of faith?
Yeah, so people who would potentially want to get into performance marketing. Yeah. So if you're sitting out there right now and you're thinking to yourself, you have experience in marketing, and maybe it's you're a media buyer yourself, or you want to just get started in performance marketing. First of all, I would tell you it'd probably be the best decision you ever make. If you're a big marketing guy, it's going to pay dividends for sure. But I remember when I was, I've been in the space for 3 years now, but I never really hit that point where I could really grow. I wasn't in an environment where I could really grow. I wasn't surrounded by the people that I wanted to be around that were like-minded, like me. And being a part of this group has really, really exponentially helped me with my growth, not only financially, but just through the connections I've made and networking and meeting great people. So for those of you who who are on the fence, I would say take that jump. It's the best decision you'll ever make. There's so much money to be made in this space. It's not even funny. Like it's insane.
How many leads we got sitting in the system right now, Palmer?
How many what?
How many leads do we have sitting in the system?
Hundreds of thousands. Hundreds of thousands.
So many people, you guys. So many businesses.
It's nuts.
There's just money sitting there, you guys, and we need the help. So if you're on the fence, you're thinking about how you can get started in this space. Learn from people that are already doing it, right? And Palmer, maybe you can give some context, like what was it like getting on your first morning call with everybody, hearing everybody give their previous day's rundown? How was that for you?
I was honestly pretty nervous, man. I hear all these big numbers being thrown out. Like, for example, Alexis. Yeah. So one of my fellow brokers here at EDM, super cool guy. My first call, I remember him saying, where we do our introductions, he was like, yeah, guys, revenue generated yesterday was $45,000, and I'm like, holy smokes, how am I going to get there? It's my first week. I don't have anything on the books. And so hearing that, I was like, okay, these guys are legit. Like, they're out here hustling, they're working. And that's who I wanted to be around. But that first experience on that call, I was like, okay, I'm with the right people. These guys are on it all the time. And that's the people I want to be around. So how
have the morning calls helped you personally?
There's so many deals that are just being dished out on those calls. So we all kind of get together.
Yeah, give them some context. What is our morning calls?
Yeah, so our morning calls are just kind of where all of our fellow brokers get together on one call every morning for like 30 minutes. It's not that crazy of a call. And everybody's just kind of telling or explaining what happened the day previous on, how much revenue was generated, what deals are coming into our pipeline, and where they could use help on either the publisher or the advertiser side. And it's great because, I remember one morning Chris was like, hey guys, we have this new traffic offer available for auto insurance. And I had a publisher that I talked to the day before that was wanting to get started on that, and I didn't know we had it at the time. So hearing Chris say that on that call, that deal would have never happened if these morning calls weren't taking place.
Yeah.
And it's a super relaxed environment. I mean, it's not like we're getting in a suit every morning, hopping on Zoom, man. It's like, hop in the call, tell everybody what's going on, where can you use some help, and what deals are ready to be made, and they've been super beneficial for me.
Now, when you initially got started, Palmer, did you feel a lot of that pressure for you to just figure shit out on your own, or you felt that pressure?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely felt that pressure, but it was a good pressure. It wasn't like, all right, if I don't do this, like, I'm screwed.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, I've got this team around me who's willing to help me in any way they possibly can. And it lit a fire under my ass, man. I was like, let's go make some money. Let's do this. And for those of you who aren't in that environment, I would encourage you to find people who light a fire under your ass and encourage you to...
Like Rita.
Like Rita. Shout out Rita. Yeah, Rita will light a fire under your ass for sure. But I would encourage you to get around people who motivate you to get up and work your ass off every single day. And with this group, you're going to get that and more. So, but it's a good fire. Like I said, it's not like we're not getting criticized. We're not getting yelled. Sometimes we get yelled at, but in a good way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It'll get you going.
Yeah, and we all need that shit sometimes. Like,
we all do, yeah.
When Rita gets on my ass, I get on his ass. Everybody gets on me. Chris be tripping sometimes. Like, it's just a part of the business, you know? And like,
gotta have it.
When you think about initially getting started, right? Did you feel 100% confident running all your appointments on your own initially?
I didn't initially. JP was actually super helpful when I first got in here. It wasn't so much the lingo and how you communicate with these people. It was more so how do I get this person plugged into the EDM dashboard? And I quickly realized, or the EDM platform, I quickly realized how easy that was. It's so easy to get these people plugged in, and I know that they appreciate that, the publishers and the advertisers. But JP was super helpful in helping me navigate the platform and get people onboarded quickly, because that's the name of the game. You know,
name of the game.
In.
Yeah.
And I would say getting people onboarded was where I struggled at first, but I picked it up within a week. So shout out JP.
Was there anything that you were initially like uncertain about when you were initially getting started? Like in terms of like how we operate, who it is that you're actually working with? Was there any uncertainty that you felt at all?
Yeah, there was. On the advertiser side, I was a bit unfamiliar with the types of buyers we were working with, because we do work with a handful of networks as well, of other networks.
We reciprocate business?
Yeah.
So if you want to reciprocate, let's reciprocate.
Right, and they end up being great deals, and that's something I wasn't really aware of, is that we do business with other networks, and they're great deals, like I said, and that was one thing I was unaware of. But on the buyer side, there's also life insurance agency owners, carriers. Those are the big ones, and that was something I didn't have much exposure with before working with you guys. So I learned a lot.
No, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Now, Palmer, just a message for the people. What are you the most excited about, and what is your 2026 declaration? How much revenue are you going to be driving in 2026? What is your goal for this year?
By the end of 2026, Jamal, I want to be driving $50,000 in revenue per day. That's my goal. I'm going big, man. I'm going big.
50K a day, you guys.
I want to be driving $50,000 in revenue per day. So that would be my declaration. And then I guess another goal I have for 2026 would be meeting more people in the pay-per-call space. This space is full of great people who are just willing to help you at any point in time. And for those of you who aren't in the pay-per-call space, you probably don't know it yet, but once you find your way in here, you're going to quickly realize that the pay-per-call space is full of just super friendly, super helpful people, and I absolutely love it, man. This is where I want to live, man. I want to live in this space forever. It's the best.
I say sometimes, like, there's certain people that this business is made for.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because at its core, we're deal makers, right?
Right.
We're making deals, we're putting stuff together, we're making things make sense for everybody. And I think if you're that type of person that's very creative, resourceful, able to figure shit out, like, this is literally the perfect business for you.
It really is.
Because you can do a lot of damage in this space, and I really like that declaration. That's a
50,000, man.
50K a day. That's a huge declaration, and I think we're going to be able to get there too.
I think we'll get there. And guys, I want to say it one more time. There is an absurd amount of money to be made in this space, and if you want to be a part of it, I highly encourage, first starting out with EDM as a broker, if that's something you're interested in. It really will change your life if you're looking for freedom of your time and to also make a lot of money. This is the perfect space to do it in, and there's a lot of money up for grabs. So I would highly encourage anyone who's on the fence, like you were saying earlier, to just dive headfirst in. It will pay dividends in the long run. I can guarantee that, as long as you do the work and put the work in, I think.
How much has personal education impacted your career? How much time have you spent personally trying to get educated on YouTube, looking at other people?
Yeah, so we joke about it we joke about it quite a few times today, actually. But Adam Young's book, founder of 𝐉𝐚𝐬𝐚𝐥 Pay-Per-Call Revolution, is a great book to read if you kind of just want a base knowledge of how pay-per-call works, and how money flows and how deals are made and how the call routing works, all that stuff. That's a great book if you're looking for a basic understanding of how this industry operates.
Yeah, get some context. How crazy? When did you realize how small the business was?
Like my first weekend, man. I was connecting with a lot of the big names in the space on LinkedIn, and it's crazy how close connected this space is. Like, everybody knows everybody. I'm sure as I make more connections through networking events and online even, I'm going to see a lot of familiar faces at future events. And it's super cool, man, because like everybody's so friendly and nice, and they're always willing to lend a helping hand at any point in time. And it's just great. You can't find any other space like that.
There is no other
really
space like that.
You really can't. It's awesome.
So let's go back to that question.
Okay.
What are some of those things that you feel like are missing that would help take the system to the whole nother level and help people even more?
To be honest, I forgot to think of the answer for that. Let me think here. Maybe with the onboarding, it's already very, very easy. But one thing I've kind of run into with onboarding publishers would be potentially having it be more fluent, because some guys have a hard time, believe it or not, and these guys are media buyers. They're nerds, man. They're tech nerds. And so when they're going about making their account, there's hiccups like, hey, I forgot my password, and I'm not able to send them a password reset right then and there. So
having that on the back end to be able to reset their passwords for them.
Yeah, that's super specific and but that was something I've been kind of.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah. So that would be probably the only thing I can think of right now.
All right. But there's definitely more stuff coming, you guys. We're never going to finish building out this system. There's always more stuff that we can add and develop, and always make sure it's going to enhance the experience of everybody that's working with us.
Right.
You guys, you have officially heard it here first. This is Palmer McColl's first podcast experience.
Sorry if I was bad, man. It's my first one. I'm a little nervous. But.
Nah, you're good, man. Now, I will tell you guys, Palmer's a rising star. There's not a lot of people where you meet them and you immediately feel a connection where they got the sauce. Palmer got the sauce. I'm going to tell y'all that right now. Palmer got the sauce. So if you guys are in need of any help at all, Palmer's definitely going to be another resource for you guys within the platform and in the ecosystem. He can help you guys out with agentic AI for outbound dialing, inbound call support. He could help you guys on the publishing side, being able to buy and purchase media. He could help you on literally anything you guys need for the business. And if he doesn't know, he has every resource available to him to make sure he finds out. Palmer, thank you so much for joining me, man.
Thank you for having me, bro. I've had a blast so far.
It's great, brother. All right.